The whole world wants to know the truth about Sushant Singh Rajput and what happened. I had evidence that the AIIMS report was going to say it's a suicide before the case got transferred to CBI.
Would you be comfortable sharing the evidence?
Yes, absolutely. He left at 6:30 in the morning and he went to the gym and he called me at 9:30 in the morning all frazzled and shooken up. And I was like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, my friend has been murdered. And I'm like, who? And he's like, Sushant. And yet still the truth is being hidden from the public, because if that information, once it goes into court, it's public information. The whole world wants to know the truth about Sushant Singh Rajput and what happened. And yeah, I'd gladly share that because people have the freedom and the right to knowledge and the right to information. That is our unalienable right. That is our human right. So, I think it's really unfair that I was censored or I was gaslighted when I came and spoke about it on different channels, or, I wasn't given the opportunity in my experience, because I was there during the whole Sushant Singh Rajput case, and I was somehow, I was caught in some of the crossfire of that, and I was censored. I received a call at 9:30 in the morning, from a guy that I was with at the time, and he was at my house. He left at 6:30 in the morning, and he went to the gym, and he called me at 9:30 in the morning, all frazzled and shooken up, and I was like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, my friend has been murdered, and I'm like, who? And he's like, Sushant. And I said, who is Sushant? You've never mentioned this guy. You did mention someone a week ago named Disha, your friend. And he's like, Sushant Singh Rajput, he's an actor. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, how do you know he's been murdered? Who did it? And he just hung up the phone and he disappeared for 5 hours. And then, I had a ton of questions like, why did you call me that? It almost felt like he had seen the dead body himself, or he had seen something, or he was afraid, or he maybe heard the news. And so when I came out and I started saying, yeah, but you people are saying that he was locked in his room and the locksmith was called, and at 1 p.m. the locksmith comes, and I was like, but then that doesn't make sense. If you have a couple of people who are going on for an interview on Republic News or other news channels, and they're saying, oh, 1 p.m. we called the locksmith, he came at 1 p.m. I'm like, no, then how did the guy who called me at 9:30 in the morning, how did he know that he's already been murdered if he apparently was still hiding and locked himself up in his bedroom, until the locksmith opened the door at 1 p.m. The sequence of events didn't make sense. And when I contacted, I was told, I was advised by some lawyer friends and stuff. In fact, one of the law firms, one of the guys from Delhi, one of the top law firms in India that works in the Supreme Court, there's a guy there who's a partner, Samuel Halkip, and he was the one who I was speaking with, and he said, maybe you should speak to the news channels. So I was put in touch with Republic News, and Arnab just totally ignored me. I have the text messages. I wrote to him. There was a guy from Times News who came from Delhi. He also interviewed me over the phone for a couple of hours. We had a conversation about everything. And he sent messages to Arnab about me that I've interviewed a person, I've seen her evidence, she's speaking the truth, I believe. I think you need to talk to her. So there was a guy, Niranjan from Republic, who reached out to me because it got circulated around, and the news came out that, this person, this girl, this woman has some information related to the Sushant case, and she was ignored by Arnab. He disclosed information to me, but he was scared because he had threats from his side that he wasn't actually allowed to share the information with me apparently, and he didn't know, or it was quite sensitive, maybe because of the people who are involved, in a lot of matters that happen in Bollywood that are still yet to come to the surface for the public to know. In my personal experience, I feel that the reason why, coming back to my statement, that I didn't feel that I have, the freedom to express my right to speech and expression was because when I was not given the platform to speak or with any of these news channels, then I resorted to posting it on my Twitter account, and then my Twitter account was suspended, and then I was slapped with like a defamation case against that guy and the people he works for, and they hit me with a defamation lawsuit, which has no holding. It has no stance in the courts. And I put all the chats, the photographs, and everything, and it's been submitted in the courts. It's been submitted in the police stations, and yet still the truth is being hidden from the public. Because if that information, once it goes into court, it's public information. I told you I was ready to do the interview without showing my face. In fact, when the AIIMS report, before the case was transferred to CBI, I received I received information, and that I have recorded evidence of that I received the information that the AIIMS report was going to say that it was suicide. And that was before the case got transferred to CBI. Now, I didn't come forward with that information. I actually had given that information to a lawyer in Delhi by the name of Vibhor Anand. Vibhor Anand came on his YouTube live, and he said, okay, we've got information, we've got evidence that AIIMS is going to say that it's a suicide before the case was transferred to CBI. So it was a pre-plan, and he put out a warning, and then, it became viral. If I wanted the fame, don't you think that I would come out with that information myself? Why would I give it to Vibhor Anand? Why would I give it to anyone else? You ask me. You tell me.
So,
what would be the reason for me to give it to someone else if I wanted the fame? I have my own personal assessment of it. People might say it's conspiracy, that I'm floating around conspiracies, but then anything that I've been accused of and people have attacked me saying that I'm conspiracy theorist has actually proven to be true, right? Whether it's the AIIMS report being, the AIIMS report just coming out and saying it's a suicide, I knew beforehand, right? I had the evidence beforehand that it was already pre-decided. There's a flaw in your legal system. The people need to look at who they're electing, and if the system is not serving the people, see, we the people elect the leader of the government, and if we're unhappy with the way things are run, then we the people need to unite and say, okay, we want to elect someone new, and if that's not an option, then we need to dissolve it.